Oh my God. Oh, hello. Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome back for another video on the channel. In 10 years of doing this channel, I've still not worked out how to use a microphone. It's good to see that. Yeah. I'm back. We're as a Blackpool, they won yesterday. How are we all? Let me know if you can see and hear me in the chat. To join me tonight, I can feel the smile from here. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Don't remind you of anyone.
When I said hello, I thought he doesn't like the intro. So,
how are we, Nappers?
Yeah, mate, I'm great, mate. So, yeah, good few days. You rang me last night at 11 o'clock. Look, I'm not going to take the mick now. That was a real hammer blow for your boys yesterday, losing 4-0, wasn't it? Man sent off, no shots on target, nearly in the bottom four now. Northampton fan, of course. Mate, another win. 14 games to go. Are you believing yet?
Not yet. Not yet. I just thought you were going to ask me how my day was, right?
How was your day?
Thanks, mate. So I had a bit of a nightmare, Ben. My car broke. I've had to have a new tire, and which meant this morning I had to take the train to work. I was sat there on the train, and I just took, as I was approaching Wycombe station, which is close to where I work. I just took my headphones off. The announcement: we're approaching Wycombe station, whatever. And I just hear something, and I thought, do you know what? I'd love to hear that little phrase on League One Live later. Bolton fans. Do you know what it was, Ben? Do you know what they say on the trains?
Go on, Jake.
What is it? It's 3 words. Ben, help me out. It's like, is it mind the gap? Is that what it is? Is it mind the gap? Mind the gap, Bolton.
This guy.
It's only getting bigger. So your 82nd minute equaliser on Saturday. What did it mean? Niff. So unfortunate. But I'm expecting a couple of nibbles. I'm expecting quite a few nibbles actually from that. But yeah, no, I'm good, Nappers. Obviously, I'm very good. We've just won 4-0 at home. So yeah, it's good. Life's good. What have I done tonight? I've done a preview tonight. I've had chicken arrabbiata for tea. Absolutely sensational. I'm just in a very positive place right now. Things are falling into place, but it's a long way to go yet. Bolton have got 39 points to play for, and they're going to need like 41 to catch us. So yeah, it's all good. Ben, can I just say before you jump in and inevitably defend Bolton, which is what you're.
No. Let's get to the game.
Can I just say I was actively encouraged tonight by this evening's host of the League One Live to wind Bolton fans up. So
just do it, mate. Just do it. Look, by the way, I'm fine, thanks, Jake. Fleetwood won yesterday again.
Sorry, it was League Two. Yeah. How was your? Well, yeah, but so I don't know if this is common knowledge amongst the League One Live viewing audience, but you weren't there.
No, I wasn't. I was at a darts competition, and to be fair, right, like Scotland, Fleetwood didn't get past the first round. So I actually I got my first drink in and thought, first pot. I thought, right, I got knocked out. I thought, bit deflated. Went round for a second beer, and they went, "Are you sure you want one?" I went, "What do you mean?" They went, "Well, you don't normally go past the first round, do you?" So that's they didn't really, but that's what I felt like. No, it was all right. It was an hour and a half. Didn't throw a dart. Couldn't throw a dart when I needed to, and it got knocked out by a team from Bradford. So that was great. But to be fair, the lads who was playing were good throws. One time they scored 100, the next scored 7. I thought, Jesus, the 100 is like Bradford at home, really good, and the 7 is like Bradford away. Not so good. So, Fleetwood won yesterday, played really well from all accounts. I watched the first half. Second half, again, good performance. When I'm not there, they've got a good record. So, another good win. Got a little bit of stick for saying it's another win close to safety, which
Mark Hill, mate, again.
I think that Fleetwood will exactly. Wants 15 goal contribution. I think he's on 10 or 11 now. So, he's on good numbers. So, tonight's running order, we're going to start off with top of the league Cardiff against Wimbledon. Then we'll go to Valley Parade and look at Bradford against Stockport County. Then we'll go for Lincoln City 4, Northampton 0. Then we'll head over to the Madstad for an 8 o'clock kickoff. Reading against Bolton Wanderers. Doncaster against Huddersfield, a nice Yorkshire derby. Big game at both ends. Stevenage against Port Vale. Stevenage got 3 points in that one. Then we'll go over to the Orient Express and see a game that for two teams that have had very different seasons and a bit of a dips in different ways. But then we'll go over to Oakwell and go over to Barnsley 2 and Peterborough 1. Then we'll go over to Exeter as they play Wycombe Wanderers, managerless Exeter. Then we'll go over to Burton Albion, which is the only team that matters, David? Come on, the Brewers, as they face Rotherham United. And then we'll go over to Bloomfield Road, where I was lucky enough to listen to live commentary of this game yesterday as well. And all I got out of it was Brett Ormerod was cold, and he thought he signed John McEnroy. That's all I got out of it in that commentary. So, plenty to discuss. If you can, drop a like, drop a subscription, and keep your comments coming. Cardiff City 4, AFC Wimbledon 1, Jake. A really good win for Cardiff City. But at this point, I'm not really surprised, if I'm honest with you, because the way Cardiff play is so good. What they do is they pass it side to side, they move it, they are just relentless. And what they do so well is they just tire teams out. And they scored 62 goals now this season, 39 of whom have come in the second half. From your point of view, certainly from my point of view, I just think that's a style-based thing because the way they are and they're good. They're so good at home, aren't they? 10 wins out of the last 11. They won 8 in a row, through to Stockport, won the last 2. 43 points at home, 42 goals scored. Unbelievable. No team have got more points since the 15th of November, than Cardiff City. 18 games, only lost 1. That was at Sincilbank. Lincoln are also only, I think, 1 defeat in 17 as well. They've only got 3 points less in the same time. They played a game less. This Cardiff City team are at 69 points. We're now getting into the territory, Jay, of asking, can this Cardiff City group, 31 to go, 14 games to get it, just over 2 points a game, could they not go and get 2 points a game here?
What, and finish on 100 points?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a world where Cardiff can. Whether they win the title or automatic promotion so early that maybe levels drop a little bit. No, it's not as a slight because I think they could win. I think they could probably win automatic promotion on Easter weekend at the back end in the middle of April. So that and if you win promotion that weekend, I think that was it Easter weekend last year where Blues went up. It was, wasn't it? I seem to remember. So yesterday I thought they were brilliant. Like, they were absolutely fantastic. There was a 10-minute period, wasn't there, when Wimbledon when they equalised and when Wimbledon scored, they went to half time at 1-1 and scoring just before half time is a great time to score, right? And there was 10 minutes, like I say, either side of half time where you thought, well, hold on a minute, Wimbledon are really fighting here. But as is so inevitable with this Cardiff City team, like you mentioned, the way that they play, they force teams into submission. I'm not sure. Well, you have played football, Ben, against me in five-a-side, and when me and my mates are popping it around and you're running around chasing shadows, as you know, it's hard work. It's tiring. It is.
Not for a machine like me that runs marathons.
Well, yeah,
but you run marathons. Couldn't even run 6 miles over there.
Yeah, you do it after an hour. You're just knackered. You're chasing shadows, and it's so hard to shift, and the concentration drops. And it's really it's a really difficult ask to stick. And when you've got players that are technically far too good for this level, I'm talking Ollie Tanner, I'm talking Amari Kellerman, I'm talking Alex Robertson. They will find an avenue to tear you apart, and Cardiff did that in the last half an hour, last 35 minutes of the game. Or last night they were brilliant, and the goals were all really good, weren't they? Really well worked. Ollie Tanner's is a great finish into the near post. Kellerman whips it round the far side. I just think Cardiff, they're a very good side. They're very clearly what I would say about, and I'd say it about the top two teams above anyone else. They're so well coached. They're the imprints of what Brian Barry Murphy wants from his Cardiff. These Cardiff, I would imagine, Ben, these Cardiff City players could turn up to the Cardiff City Stadium at 3 in the morning, half asleep, and be able to do that against a team that were wide awake and knew what they were doing, because that's how good they are. And they've got every chance of getting 100 points. And I hope they do, because it would really shut a couple of blue noses up from last season saying how good they were for getting 100 points. I think it would be nice. But yeah, a really good win. I mean, for Wimbledon, there are positives to take. They had 10 minutes against Cardiff. Not many teams are going to have 10 minutes against Cardiff, certainly at their home ground. So that's a positive. They scored a good goal. It was a lovely ball in from Steve Seddon onto the foot of Matty Stevens. And it was a lovely goal. But like we've said about so many teams, right? I don't think Wimbledon's season is defined by going away to Cardiff. But for Cardiff, another 3 points. And yeah, they march on. So, it was a comprehensive performance from the Bluebirds last night.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I think that the way they have played, and I was doubtful at the start of the year. I thought, you see these teams come down, they have a bit of a honeymoon period, don't they? They're winning games of football. It's different. They're going into all these new stadiums that they've probably not been to for many a year, and some probably never. They're playing these smaller teams and playing this brand of football, summer football, and I was worried that it'd get eaten up in yellow ball season. But ultimately it hasn't. And ultimately they've got better as the season's gone on. And for me, they're starting now to win games with a heavier scoreline, which I always knew was coming. And that's not me being like, oh, I was right. It's just, you just go back to the games, you go back to the stats and watch the highlights of the games. They were physically dominating sides and battering sides. Look at Lincoln last night, they won 4-0, but it's been coming for the last few weeks as that. Certainly at home, we've had a few away. But the home form is just unremarkable. And I don't think any team can get near them. I think that if you beat them, it's a bit of a smash and grab. And you've got to get away with one. Cardiff have to be down 2 or 3 levels. Bradford did it, and Bradford were excellent. And Burton had a game plan, stuck to it, and deserved humongous plaudits for going to that stadium and winning. On Wimbledon, I'm not going to throw the baby out the bathwater on that one, because away from home this year, they have been good. They have lost 8 out of 17 for a side that being down there is about right. But they've won 6 away, and they're ranked 6th away from being at home. And they're one of 2 sides actually that have got more points away from home, 18 points on the road, than actually at home. So Plymouth are the same. Plymouth have got a lot more points on the road. I think they've got 25 on the road now. And I just think the way Wimbledon set up, they set up not to lose, similar to Stevenage a little bit in that way, that they probably know they can't get at teams. They have to be well structured, hard to break down, disciplined. A strong back line, midfield, running forwards, and providing support for the attack when they can, and nicking a goal and sticking with it. And against Cardiff, you can't. It's an almost impossible task. So, yeah, I think they'll be absolutely fine. Let's move on from strong away to strong at home once again. We mentioned Cardiff's relentless home form. Bradford City just as good. 27 home wins since the start of last year. Now, we're talking 40 games here, and they've won 27 of them. And they've only lost, I think, 2 this year. To Burton and Cardiff, both of those 2-1. Another even more impressive start, 11 clean sheets this year for the Bantams. But they've only failed to score once at home since September 2024. That was against Lincoln, Jake.
Yeah, maybe they were lucky to get a point out of that game as well. But can
I just say before you go, I actually had a line in my notes, And I sent this to my friend Phil. I went, this is a genuine line in my notes, and it says, Jake will proceed to make a comment or say something along the lines of, yeah, it's just what we do, mate. Keeping clean sheets isn't out the ordinary, and smile like a Cheshire cat.
When you've got 11 clean sheets, and your keeper's top of the Golden Glove, whatever it is, it is what we do, right? But this week, and we said it on Sunday night, didn't we? This is Bradford back to their maybe not scintillating best, but definitely back to their best against a Stockport team who are so strong away from home. This is a massive result, and it feels like it because since the turn of the new year, it feels a little bit like Bradford have went off the boil a little bit. They lost those 3 massive games, didn't they? They've dropped a couple of points here and there. The away record's not been fantastic. So to get back to Valley Parade, beat Peterborough as convincingly as they did at the weekend, and then up against a Stockport team who, are a very good team, very handy away from home. There's lots of experience in this Stockport team, Ben. You're talking about Brad Hills, Ethan Pye, been and done there at this level before, Ollie Norwood, and Lewis Bate coming back into the team. A lot of people saying that that's probably one of the best midfields in the league. Ben Osborne's played in the Premier League. Carl Wotton's done it at this level for Stockport before. So it was a difficult game for Bradford, but they came through it, and it was a tight game. It was cagey in that sort of first half. It was a bit like I felt watching the highlights. It felt like both teams were holding back a little bit in the first half, scared of making a mistake to lose it because it is such a pivotal game, and the outcome has proved to be so. And if you look at it, I think Stockport will be slightly disappointed in the manner in which the goal goes in because they've got control of the ball. And I think it's Ethan Pye that just has to try and hook his foot round it and clear it. But to be fair to him, Anthony Sarcevic, who has stepped up for Bradford City so many times in his short career there, stepped up for many teams, getting out of League Two mainly, but this time doing it out of League One. With a great finish. He nicks the ball off the defender, and it's a great finish into the top corner. I mean, Hinchliffe was going to get absolutely nowhere near it. So, yeah, it was a good win. It felt like an important win, given where Stockport were in the league table. It leapfrogs them. We were talking on the weekend, Ben, about Stockport being in a top 2 race. I know you've had conversations with Bradford fans who maybe now think that they might be. I slightly beg to differ, but they've got the confidence. They're feeling good, and it is a massive win for them. I don't think you can sugarcoat it as anything else. Stockport, they'll be disappointed. Their performance levels nowhere near as what they were. Stockport, Ben, have lost a quarter of their games. They've lost 8 games in 31. Like, it feels. I don't know what you think about Stockport this year, but they're just so much off the boil. I literally have no idea what it is. Like, the personnel very similar. The key experienced players who were in that team last year, they got 87 points and finished 3rd. They're on course for under 80 points. Well, maybe a little bit over, but it's worrying for Stockport. What do you think what do you put it down to?
When you said on course for under 80 points, I thought you were talking about
Bolton. Bolton. Yeah, I was.
Their current, is just shy of 80. That's no dig. That's a fact. With Stockport, I've said it all season, haven't they? And it's pretty much going to be true again. They'll have 4 games. They'll win 2. They'll draw 1. They'll lose 1. They'll win 2. They'll draw 1. They'll lose 1. Every season, there is this team that they might go on this nice little 7 or 8 game unbeaten run, but they might go on this game of one winning 5 or one winning 6. But ultimately, over the course of every chunk of the season, which say 10/11 games, say 10 games, they'll win 4, they'll lose 4, or they'll win 5, draw 3, lose 2. That's what they've done in the last 10. They picked up 18 points, and they're consistently between 1.6 and 1.8. And they don't really go below it. And they don't really go into the 2.1, 2.2. They might get to 2 over 7 or 8 games, but that's about it. So I'm not going to raise alarm bells because I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. I don't think Stockport have been good. I think they've been good in flashes, and I don't think they've been wow out of this world because, don't get me wrong, they've been better across the last 6 weeks because over Christmas period, they were awful. They went on that poor run, certainly at home. And I feel like time when I watched them, there's not really left to be a lot to be desired. ultimately, they've been better. They won 4 of the previous 6 going into this. But and the goal scoring, I don't think they scored enough goals. You look at, if you talk about the top 2, they scored 15 less than Lincoln, 20 less than Cardiff. Huddersfield have scored more goals than them. Reading have scored more goals than Stockport this year. It's only Bradford, that are, and Stevenage pretty much, that in and around the top 8 have scored less goals.
Even Wycombe have scored more than them.
Yeah, exactly. And Wycombe, to be fair, went on that good run under Duff, didn't they? And I think that they've got a lot of good players, but ultimately brought a lot of players back that have been fans' favourites. But ultimately, they've got to fit them all into a system now. And Bate and Norwood together yesterday, I just didn't think it worked. I think that was the general perception I got on the fan base from that game yesterday. Yeah, I just think that ultimately it was a horrible game of football. It was a fine margin game of football that Bradford ultimately are the kings, in my opinion, of winning. And if you can win fine margin football matches, ultimately the team normally at home gets them. And ultimately, I think there's that stat out there that 75% of games that the team that score first get a positive result. That means win or draw. So Bradford City often just get themselves in front and get themselves in their position. And at home, it's only Lincoln and Cardiff that are better than them, and Bolton are up there as well. But ultimately, away from home, they're not good enough. And a Bradford fan said to me before, he thinks he can get top 2. Well, for me, there's always dare to dream, and I think that is a little bit ambitious because, yes, they got a game in hand, they go 7 behind Lincoln. We're talking, let's say they get 35 points, 90 points. That's just asking 35 from a possible 45. Asking from a side.
They've got to get 36, haven't they? Because
exactly.
They're going to get 90. Well. They're not going to have a better goal difference.
Their goal difference is poor. That's a point as well. So ultimately, I think Bradford have had a good season and they've overachieved on it. By the way, people talk about Bradford's budget not being the greatest. Lincoln are up there as well, and that's a good budget as well. Bolton have obviously paid big money. Cardiff haven't paid a lot of money, but you imagine wages would occupy. I can't comment because Huddersfield have spent big wages as well. It's a little old Stevenage were overachieving as well. In 7th position. I think that goes under the radar because they've fallen off a little bit up until recently. But no, honestly, they've done the double. And I'm really pleased for Anthony Sarcevic as well because team not good enough in League One by Fleetwood Town, Shrewsbury, Bolton Wanderers, and ultimately Stockport County, where he's a legend at Fleetwood, he's a legend at Stockport, won promotion at Bolton, and did a lot for the football club. And it's his best ever season goal scoring run. Back in the team, boy, how they missed him, And he's a really good goal. I don't know if he's caught it cleanly but the way he's caught it has just found its way into the top corner. And it's a really, really, good win now for Bradford. And I need more of it. Wimbledon away Saturday. So ultimately, that's for Bradford, that is. You think, it's a bit of a banana skin. But ultimately, if Bradford want to go up top 2, they've got to be relentless now. I think that you're looking at for Bradford City, I think now, another 19 points, I think, will get you into the playoffs. From 15 remaining games, you're talking of it's in their own hands now, which maybe a week ago, I thought Bradford could have been the team that are coming out of it, maybe too reliant on that home form. And ultimately, away from home, you're not so good. When your home form dips and you've not got your away form to back it up, ultimately something goes wrong somewhere. And you've seen a lot of other teams flip-flop, being too reliant on that home form. You need to be strong both, and get good wins at home, but also have a semi-decent away record. And I think I say across the season, 50 at home, 30 to 40 away, you're up. Simple as that. Next game, Lincoln City 4, Northampton 0.
Shall we do Northampton first?
Yeah, I'm very worried for Northampton.
Yes, me too.
The second fewest goals in League One, just 29 goals scored. Only Port Vale on 22 have scored fewer. And I raised this concern in about October time. I had David backing me up in the chat, if I recall. And the argument back was, well, they're not conceding goals. Now, I'm a big believer, and I also said last season, if you remember, Burton drew 3-3 at Mansfield. I think they had a 2-2 draw somewhere before. They were scoring goals, but conceding a lot. And the argument was, well, Burton are scoring. Well, what happens is your goal scoring dries up before your goals conceded, right? So then you start losing games instead of drawing them. When what happened, it ultimately did. what happens then when you're not scoring and you're not conceding much? You're probably more likely to start conceding one or two because you probably get away with one or a keeper bails you out. You're not really correct, but you nick a 1-0 or something. And I'm not digging Northampton in because they got a good win over Stevenage recently, and Lincoln away is a tough game. Right, it really is a tough game. But they've not scored in 12 of their 32 matches now this season. But ultimately, as well, it's not just that. They've got the fewest shots in the league, 289, 90 shots on target across 32 games. You're averaging just shy of 3 per game, which is not good enough, really. And Northampton are relying on winning 1-0. But to be fair, they've won 3-0 at Plymouth, 3-1 against Stevenage, 3-1 against Wimbledon this season. So they can score goals. But ultimately, they score in splurts and they don't score regularly enough. And I look through the squad. There's no one in that squad, whereas at Burton, at Orient, Wigan, even at Rotherham, there is. And I just look through that squad. Hoskins, Vale, Swayer, Campbell, Taylor. I know they had Eves on the bench. I just look through it. I just think there's no one really that's a gem, is there? And I just fear for them. I just think they're so weak. I just think they're so poignant and genuinely, right? Target used to say there's been a murder. Northampton got murdered yesterday by Lincoln.
They did, and we can come on to how good we were because we've all got a little bit of time for that in our lives, no doubt. But Northampton quite possibly were the worst team to have come to Sincil Bank this season. They were tepid. They came to set up for and get a 0-0 draw, but they played so openly. It sort of played into our hands. I mean, I don't think they've had a shot on target. I certainly can't remember them having a shot on target yesterday. They didn't have one on Saturday away at Exeter either, which is quite alarming. They're now going into 3 massive games against Orient. I think Orient, Port Vale and Peterborough are their next 3. Without Jack Vale, he got sent off last night, a little bit harshly probably. But yeah, I do worry about them, where the goals are going to come from. No Cam McGeehan last night. Kamari Swire was forced to play wing back. I think what it is with Northampton, Ben, I speak to Charles from the It's All Cobblers to Me gang, and he says Kev Nolan is just so persistent and stubborn with playing this back 3, back 5 shape because he wants to be so defensively solid. And they have got good defenders, thinking about it. Jack Burrows, good defender. Nestor Guinness-Walker, some good wing backs there. Max Dyche has stepped up in recent weeks, scored away at Barnsley the other week. They've got Jordan Willis, Elliot Moore, who's a promotion-winning captain at this level. They have got some good defenders, and I think Ross Fitzsimmons probably put in one of the best goalkeeping performances that I've seen at Lincoln this year, and he's conceded 4 goals, right, which is mental to say. He's so stubborn. He doesn't change, and he doesn't ever go for it. It feels like the shackles are on a little bit, and I worry for them. I genuinely do worry for them. It's alarming. No Jack Vale. They're going to have to rely on Tom Eves. Cam McGeehan, obviously, was injured last night. He's been a massive part of it, but he's not really found the net recently. So, yeah, I think Cobblers, they're looking down the barrel at the minute, aren't they? Because they're trying desperately to find 4 teams they can finish above. And I think their fans will be worried, going, "Wow, hold on a minute. They can score goals. They can score goals." And that's the worry. That is, they were tepid last night, and they got what they deserved, which is an absolute spanking.
I agree with you. And that good defence, where they were just conceding. I think in the first 19, they'd only conceded 19. Well, in the last 13, they conceded 24. Do you know what I mean? That's a big shift. And you're looking at now, Doncaster have been really poor defensively. I've had 4 against them at Cardiff, 5 against Plymouth. They've had a lot of goals conceded. And they've only conceded 7 more. Yes, they played again. Blackpool 48. Burton Albion 45. Wigan 42. They conceded less. Yes, a game less going into tonight. As they play Luton, which is currently 0-0 at half time there in Gary Cowell's first game. We'll have a bit of a say on Gary Cowell. We'll go into Wigan in the extra section. And Rotherham United 44. So their defence now doesn't really stick out where it once did when they were in the bottom half. And you have got the issue is with Kevin Nolan's football, and I always say it and I repeat myself, which I do apologise for, but I'm a big believer in brands of football. Every brand of football has to win. ultimately you're in football to win games of football, and win things and survive. And everyone's got different aims. But certain brands of football have to do things. I'm a big believer Ravel's football has to get him really challenging for the playoff. Kevin Nolan's football has to keep you in the division. And if it doesn't, you don't really see anything different. And you can't really see positives from that. I think at Burton, you see, if they lose, they fight and they're in the game ultimately. And I think that you can see a structure there at Doncaster where they want to attack and they are in games and they're going in front in games. And eventually the luck is starting now to turn where they're scoring first, but seeing it out. Whereas at Northampton, Kevin Nolan's defensive brand of football, it will work for so long and it'll get points, but those 3 points turn into 1 point. Those 1 points turn into no points. And ultimately, eventually something turns. And then when the results go, the football, which the style notoriously hasn't changed, now he's been called a dinosaur for it. Whereas 6 months ago, he's not the Messiah, but what a job he's done at Northampton. You're talking about how well he's proved you wrong. 6 months later, we're having a conversation about his style. Has the style changed? In my opinion, it hasn't. We'll go on to Lincoln because just wow at this point. Absolutely relentless. 15 unbeaten. Is that 11 wins in 15 now? 4 draws, 37 points, which fair play. Those 37 points across the 15 games is more points than Port Vale, who have played 29, Rotherham, who have played 30, Wigan, who have played 31, Leyton, who have played 31, Northampton, who have played 34, Burton Albion, who have played 35, Doncaster, who have played, Burton Albion, who have played 31, they've got 35 points, Doncaster 31, Blackpool have played 32, and just 2 shy of Wimbledon and 2 shy of Mansfield, which is unbelievable. At home as well. Since you've come into this division at home, you've been notoriously a good home side. That first season in League One, 32 points at home in just 14 games. Where you were 33 points, 17 games where the season got curtailed basically, and then you got 32, 26, 35, 37, 36, 40. So already this is the most points Lincoln have got at home, which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous at this point. 12 wins, 4 draws, and 65 points, already beaten last season's tally of 61. And I'm talking about little markers for you now of get to this, get to this, get to that. I talked about Fleetwood yesterday, safety. I'm now asking Lincoln, right, your best season in this league is when you got 77 points? You got to a few years ago.
5 years ago, we got
5 years ago.
Did we get? Is that all we got? I thought we got more than 8.
No, you got more. I think you got 88 points, didn't you? You got into the 80s in one season. But ultimately, beat your best ever seasons and then keep going. It's just unbelievable the way that Lincoln just keep going and finding a way. That game yesterday was unbelievable. Lincoln on Saturday should have won that 3, 4, 5. Yesterday, I'm talking, could have been double digits. Every single player to a man was fantastic. And it actually makes me so happy watching this group because I don't think I've seen a group as cohesive as this since Plymouth Argyle when they went up on 101. And I look through the similarities, man for man at the time, they were good. Lincoln are just as not good, if not a little bit better. I don't think they'll get 100 points. They're not going to probably, but
be nice, wouldn't it?
Exactly. I looked at Rainoni coming to the side yesterday. You're bringing players in. It doesn't really look a difference. Like Rob Street, Ivan on the bench yesterday, Lloyd on the bench. The lad from Bromley's not even getting
Rico Hackett didn't even get on yesterday.
Rico Hackett didn't get onto the pitch yesterday, which I think is good because you are resting players, and this squad just continuously surprises you. And I think it's getting to that stage of people don't believe it because Lincoln City shouldn't be up there, the budget shouldn't be up there. The fan base shouldn't be up there. They're overachieving. I can tell you, you watch Lincoln, they're not overachieving. They play some breathtaking football. They play better football. I think they play, for me, if I had a season ticket and I wanted to watch a certain brand of football, Lincoln and Bradford are the
Good
two
mix, isn't it? It's a good mix.
I like, because for me, Cardiff is great, but I think I
Get
want a
bored.
bit more. I want a bit more off the edge of my seat, and that's no dig. That's just me. I think because I'm Northern, I want Northern football, but not league round football. I just think the way that Lincoln play, they're ferrotic. They get the ball forward. They pass with purpose. They penetrate you. They're getting so good areas. And look, Bolton Wanderers keep talking. I'll get to them in a bit, actually. But Stockport keep talking. It'll take something special to beat this team. And in a way, all that I want now is, and take this the right way, I want Lincoln maybe to lose one and win the next one. Just bounce back. Then for me, they've completed it. But ultimately, I think they've got enough in that changing room. And James Collins is injured at the minute. Like, at the start of the year, if I said to you, star strike, he's your star number 9. He's the one that is going to score you 20 goals this season. And obviously, it's not worked out from this year due to injuries, but they've won 19 games. And ultimately, they've got 8 of the bottom 12 still to play. The record against from Wycombe upwards, who the only team they beat, if you actually want to go against the top 12, beat Plymouth home and away, beat Peterborough home and away, lost away at Wycombe 3-2, last minute, by the way. Luton won at home, drew away. By the way, I've not got your fixtures, I'm just guessing this. So if I'm wrong, correct me. Reading at home, they won. Stevenage at home, they won 1-0. Huddersfield at home, they drew. Was it 1-1 at home? Stockport, they won away 3-2. Bradford
2-1.
2-1. Bradford 1-0 down, weren't you, as well? Bradford, it was
no. We scored in the last minute away at Stockport. Rob Street scored a penalty last minute.
Yeah. Look, even Jesus was wrong now and again. Bradford, you beat them home and drew away. Bolton, you drew to them twice and probably could have had 6 points. Cardiff, you beat. So your record against the top 12, you've only lost to Wycombe. And then Barnsley, you beat home and away. Exeter, obviously, I won't mention that. It's not relevant this time. But the record Lincoln have got against the top half side is great. Ultimately, I don't see a world where this side don't do it in. One last one. Jake rang me last night. There was a smile on his face. That meant a lot to me, just to see what it means to Jake, to Sue, to the Lincoln fans, who ultimately I would love to see it now happen. And I'm so invested in it. I'd love it to happen more than anything now. And genuinely, I mean a lot. You've been a good friend to me. And I know this has been your dream for a long time. Surely you must be dreaming that your dream is almost coming true now.
Yeah, it is mainly coming true. Before I get into it, there is someone I need to give a shout out to. It is 3-month-old Faith Richardson, who is glued to her Dan Richardson and Helen's TV right now, nappers, watching me and you get emotional talking about Lincoln. So see you next season, Dan.
Good win for them last night.
To get to Fratton Park. Huge win. Play up Pompey and all that. I'm looking forward to meeting you, Faith. Hopefully.
Can I just say one more thing?
Of course
it's great because if you go up, it's great. And if you don't go up, I'll have the prevention next year to remind you.
Yeah.
With it, mate.
Yeah. I mean, last night, like you say, and I'll try not to go on because it's not the Lincoln City show, but most people in there are Lincoln City fans or want Lincoln City to bottle it. So it's their favourite topic of conversation, isn't it?
Because of you.
That's my fault. Last night we made changes. Obviously, like you mentioned, Baylis came in, One came in, House came in, and they're all brilliant. And these are lads that haven't played a huge amount of football. One scored. Like, in that first half, the guy looked unbelievable. Best player on the pitch. He was sensational. Northampton couldn't live with him. He's big, he's physical, he's different to what we've got. And he took his goal really well, similar to his goal away at Plymouth, where he drops his shoulder and slots it past the keeper, except this one is a far better finish. And like you say, Ben, Bolton now talk about their squad depth and bringing on, Kenny off the bench and Rodriguez off the bench and bringing off Simmons and Arahan and Sheehan or whatever. Right. Well, our bench last night had Ivan Varfodomov on, who's been one of our better players in the last 6 weeks. It had Rob Street on, who's been phenomenal for us all season. And it had Rico Hackett on, who's probably been one of our best players this season in general. Rico not needing to come on. And we won the game so emphatically, players could have a rest ahead of Saturday, which is why I think we'll be able to get a good result on Saturday. Moylan came off for half an hour. Street only played for half an hour. McGrandles got taken off for half an hour. So we've got fresh legs for Saturday, and I feel in a really good position. And this group are so special. Like the experience that Sonny, that Tendai, that Ricci, that Colo. Even though you won't see it on the pitch, right? Colo is at the EPC every single day doing his rehab around the boys. It's massive, and even the lads that aren't getting in the matchday squad right now. Josh Honohan, Deji Elarue, Camille Conte. Like these boys, they're not sat there sulking. And I think when you're big egos at a club like Bolton or Huddersfield, they're not in the matchday squad. They're going to sit there and they're going to sulk and they say, "Well, I'm not playing." We're going to get into our agent. We're going to talk into our agent and try and dismantle things. So last night was brilliant. It shows to me why I think we've got the credentials to get promoted. Beating a team, yes, it's Northampton 4-0. It was so comfortable. It was from the minute we scored. We
no matter who you play, Bolton drew 0-0 with them and couldn't beat them at home.
We weren't. As soon as we scored the first goal, and that is what this Lincoln group is so good at. Ben, you speak about teams that score the first goal always get a result. Lincoln are the best team in the league for getting the first goal. No, I think we've scored the first goal in 30 games this season in all competitions. We've played about 40, maybe. So, yeah, really happy, really pleased. Obviously, we go to Mansfield on Saturday, which is a tough test, which we'll come on to. But yeah, I believe in this group. I believe in this manager. I believe we've got the best player in League One at the minute in terms of form, Jack Moylan. I think you're going to struggle to find someone on better form than Jack Moylan, the way he's contributing to games. And I mean, hopefully the guy gets a senior island call up in the next international break. We'll miss him, but he's a fantastic player. So yeah, look, I'm really happy the way that it's going. And I'm running out of words, Ben, for this team. And you can see it. I've wanted so long, even when we're in the National League, I thought we were going to get there. And now we're on the cusp of it. I really hope we don't bottle it because my life will not be worth living if we do. But this group just feel together. They feel united. And the city is behind the football club magnanimously. Everyone is behind them. So, yeah, it was a special night at the bank last night. And we've got 6 more home games, Ben. I wouldn't be surprised if we won all 6 of those remaining home games. And that'll put us on 8. That'll put us on 81. We only need then probably 9 points to take Bolton, Bradford, Stockport out of the race. And we've got some pretty, not favourable, but difficult, but some pretty good away games to take those points in. So, yes, I'm feeling confident. It's not done yet, but this group is special. And I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to give their all to get there.
I could see your Bolton fans, we'll get on to Bolton in a minute, but a lot of Bolton fans said they've got the better team. Well, there's a team that aren't as good as you, that are 8 points in front of you with a game in hand. Sometimes the best teams don't always win the league. I've seen teams in the League 2 in the last 2 years. Carlisle got relegated. On paper, they should have gone top 3. It's tactics, it's structure, it's infrastructure, it's people behind the scenes, it's cohesive unit, it's winning fine margins. And I tell you this now, in every division, in the EFL, there's teams that go up, they win leagues, they win titles because they're good at what they do, they're good at the basics, they dig in, they work hard for each other, the fan base are on board, right? The fan base understand the football club. So no matter how big or small you are, or how big your team is, or how big your budget is, it's heart, it's desire. Lincoln have got more heart and desire than Bolton have shown all season. Bolton have huffed and puffed. Lincoln have got the job done. Reading 1, Bolton 1.
I hate them. I absolutely hate. They find a way, don't they?
Yeah.
And that is the one thing that I find so admirable about Bolton, and we are probably going to criticise them a little bit, I imagine. But if you are going to give credit to, they've scored 12 goals, 13 goals now from. Is that just 90 plus minutes, or is that? I think
13 from the 80th minute onwards, which I mean that's great. As a club, Bolton are a fantastic football that I've always praised. Bolton are.
He's a Lincoln fan, so I think
Bolton are a fantastic football club with a great history and a great infrastructure. But we're talking about League One, and we're talking about the here and now, not the past, right? Bolton's issue isn't themselves. Genuinely, Bolton got a good team, right? And they've got good players, and they are on a good run. Don't get me wrong. What is that? 7 unbeaten now, and they've been winning games of football. My issue is the late goals are great, and they're finding a way. I say it's not sustainable, but they've done it till the middle of February and they're still here, which is absolutely unbelievable. But can they do it while they're in the top 2 race? My issue is they're not winning a lot of games in the last minute. They're winning a couple, but a lot of times it's to draw. I know they've done it 3 or 4 times to win, but yesterday, all that whole it was to get a point, to get to 8 points. And it's like, if they'd won that 2-1, I'm here talking about a totally different scenario. But they drew the game. The thing is with Bolton, they create the XGs off the scale. They've had the most shots in the division by about 80 to Cardiff. But 80 more shots than Cardiff had the second most. I think they've had 542. I think Cardiff have had 459. So it's like, that is unbelievable. Bolton create chances. I think a lot of that come from the fact that when it's like 0-0 or 1-1, they shoot from about 20 yards out and the just defenders sitting in blocks and getting behind it and sitting in. And teams against, when they play Bolton, play differently to the way they'll play other teams because Bolton are a massive football club. For me, the biggest in the division. You know, they're a massive football club with a huge Cardiff, a massive, but Bolton are wow, what a big football club. But ultimately, this doesn't matter about that. And again, they got a point yesterday. Away at Reading was ultimately a good point. But Bolton, right, the issue is, right, and this is no slack on the fan base, and I know I'm going to get it because it's just what happens.
You're going to get it, mate, because you're associated
I can't criticise, right? I can't criticise without getting it. But I'll say it now. Bolton need to focus on themselves. Bolton are so clued up on how Lincoln City are doing. Oh, we're going to catch Lincoln. Oh, Lincoln, you're not sustainable. The Lincoln fans asking you questions. And I'm like, focus on yourself, fellas and ladies. You know, Bolton are currently on average and shy of 80 points for the whole season.
That's only going to get you finished normally in the League One season, probably fourth.
Fifth. So, I mean, Stockport are ahead of you on PPG. Bradford, at this moment in time, are 2 points behind, are higher than you on PPG. I think Stockport will be just a little bit below, sorry. So, but it's pretty much level. And I'm like, just focus on yourself. The issue with Bolton, they don't like, I don't think, being criticised. Just focus on yourself, all right? You call yourself a big fan base, which you are. You call yourself a big football club, which you are. You say you've got the best team in the division. Stop talking. Stop doing your talk on social media. Stop talking about the others. Go away now. Go and win your last 11, 12, 13.
Go and get 39 points and make Lincoln go and work.
Get 90 plus points, which I genuinely believe if Bolton Wanderers played at their very best under this manager who has gotten playing a good brand of football, the stats show for it, and they're probably not achieving what they should do right now. Lincoln are overachieving their data, which is, don't get me wrong, genuinely, this data stat and these modern day sayings drive me insane. Don't get me started, man. I love that inverted fullbacks and blah, blah, blah. Shut up. I don't care about your stat. Go home, win your games of football, 3 points, rat-a-tat-tat. Doesn't matter. Just go and win games of football. Bolton Wanderers have a big fan base. They have a big history and a great team. Bolton can go and win 10, 11 games in a row, right? If you genuinely believe you're the real deal and want to go and get promoted, go and do it. If Bolton Wanderers put their minds to it, stop focusing so heavily on thinking about failing, lads. Do as you mean. Act like a big football club. Go and win your games of football and get your job done. Because at the moment, forget about Lincoln. They're not even getting their own jobs done. And when they get it done, it's Lincoln are kind of getting it done with
ease at the minute.
Yeah, that's the difference. You look at the results. Bolton.
Based on this season, Ben, if you were making a combined 11 based on Lincoln and Bolton, how many Bolton players get in that team?
I genuinely, right. It's about football. Well, at football, when you're talking about you've got a better team, Fort Master 85, Lincoln have got 8 more points than you. I'm genuinely right. If you genuinely think you're going to get promoted, go and get your points. Genuinely, I'm sick of hearing about it now. Oh, I genuinely think, right, Bolton talk. I think they need 90 points, 33 points from a possible 39. I think Bolton will win all the home games if they put the mind. But away from home, at home, For me, they're a top. They can be a top 2 side because they can beat anyone at home. They can put the fear of God into. But away from home, they're a bottom half side. And the stats. And if you want to use your stats show for it.
Yeah, they've got to, and you got to remember with Bolton, and yes, I'm talking about this with my Lincoln tinted specs on. That last 6 games that Bolton have got are not easy. I think they've got to go away to Cardiff, away to Bradford. They've got to play Stockport at home. I think they've got Huddersfield as well, and I can't remember. Their last 5 or 6 are incredibly difficult. Yeah, I mean, last night we spoke about how it's completely admirable, right? How they keep scoring there. They shouldn't be in that position.
They're creating so many chances.
They shouldn't be in that position. If Bolton genuinely had a decent number, well, decent's not the right word because I think Bairstow and Dolby are. So I think it's more a systematic issue rather than an individual player base issue. I think it's maybe the way they're creating chances that the reason that they can't score. But yes, last night they score in the last minute. They score in the last minute to equalise. Like that's awful. That's awful. That should have been a winning goal. That goal from I can't remember who it was. Mason Burstow. This Bolton, it's been the issue all season, isn't it? And McQuaid put a really good tweet out. And if you don't follow Ben McQuaid and you're a Bolton fan, I think you need to. Bolton Wanderers have the same problem on game 33 than they had on game 1, right? They've not evolved, Ben. For me, Bolton Wanderers have not got better as the season gets on. They've dipped. They've got a little bit worse. They get a little, but from their base layer, Bolton, I don't think have got any better. Look at Cardiff. Cardiff have got miles better. They've gone like that. Lincoln have gone like that. Bradford, they've gone like they've had a dip, but they're now trending back upwards. Stockport, for their levels, have been quite poor, but they've been a little bit rolled. Bolton are no better than they were on game 1. No better. And the problems remain the same. They've got, their fans do talk about, we've got the best team in the league, you'd have all our players, whatever. Football is not played on paper. Football is played on grass, right? You cannot, that's just not how it works, Bolton fans. And I have the utmost respect for you. I said it at the end of Sunday night's show, how I have massive respect for Bolton and their fan base are great, right? They've got some really good fans who I'm really big friends with. But like Ben said, Bolton need to concern about themselves. You cannot comment on other people's houses if yours isn't in order. And Bolton's house right now is messy, it's chaotic. And yeah, it looks on the surface, it maybe looks clean, but you lift that rug up, they've chucked all the clothes under the carpet. So yeah, I just don't. I don't think this Bolton group have the mentality. I think a lot of their players are shirking under the pressure, and I think we'll see that in the playoffs, Ben. Where if Bolton don't get top 2, that's already a failure for Bolton Wanderers in League One. Right, it's already a failure. If they get if this team get in the playoffs, and let's say they play against Reading, who's sneaking on the final, can you imagine the pressure? And this group, they've already not got into the top 2. Can you imagine the pressure that's going to be on this group of players to I don't think they can stand up to that, this Bolton group. No. I'd say I'd love to be proven wrong. I wouldn't. I'd love to get promoted and laugh in Bolton fans' faces. It would be hilarious. But they've got to look at themselves. And for me, that's we should also, Ben, say Reading were good.
We're in that 4th game.
Yeah, I thought Reading were decent. I thought they were okay yesterday. They weren't vintage, and they haven't been under Liam Robinson. I'm just making sure that's Richardson. Liam, I don't know who Liam Robinson is. They haven't been vintage, but we said it about a lot of teams in League One. Got a striker, you got a chance. And for all the good work back on Bolton, Jack Bonham did on Saturday, he made a mistake yesterday for the goal. I thought it was bad goalkeeping. But Reading,
oh my God,
they take the chances. They take their chance. They took the chance yesterday. Look, let's move on from Bolton because I think
one more thing I will say is I'm not having a dig at Bolton. I just think sort your lives out, fellas. Like Jake just said, and I'm not up Jake's. Like someone's just said in the comments. I'm just sick of this. What you were, I don't care what you. I'm talking about what you are now, and you can see you got the best team. But you haven't because you're 3rd in the table. Ipswich had the best team in the league a few years ago. They finished 2nd. So how can you talk about them being the best team? I'm like, all right, then if you want to go that far, how many teams? Sheffield Wednesday. Oh, they had a really good team. They finished on 96 points, finished fourth. They ended up getting promoted. Don't get me. But I'm like, I'm not being funny. Next to the teams that have gone up in recent years, this Bolton side. If you put a league together of all the teams that have gone up maybe the last 8, 10, maybe the last 4 years, I don't think Bolton would get in the top 6 with those teams in their primes. And I mean that. Birmingham are better than Plymouth, Ipswich, you know.
But Bolton haven't improved. I think, as good as the Schumacher appointment was, and I was a big fan of it, and I still am. I think he is inevitably going to be the right man. But
I agree.
They've got to. If I'm a Bolton fan and they don't get promoted this year, you've got to see an improvement next year. Making loads of chances and not scoring is not going to be good enough. Yeah, no. And we think next year, Ben, League One is probably going to be harder than what it is this year because people are saying League One's rubbish and it's easy this year. It's your best chance to get out of it. You're going to have Sheffield Wednesday come down with new owners. You're probably going to have a Blackburn come down who are, I'm going to say it, bigger than Bolton because they've won the Premier League. You know, you're going to have an Oxford who has spent big money in the summer in January to try and stay in the Championship. You've got Matt Bloomfield, who's a very good manager for the level. You're going to have Peterborough that are better. You're going to have Luton that are better. You're going to have probably one of Stockport, Bradford. League One next year is going to be a nightmare to get out of if you're Bolton Wanderers. So they need to get their house in order if they want to get out of the easiest route possible. But they continuously mess it up for themselves and they don't improve. And that is why Bolton have been stuck in League One as long as they have.
Really good point for Reading yesterday against Bolton.
Great point for Reading. Fan, you are. I'm a big fan.
16th goal of the season. He's been involved in 44% of the goals since joining the football club. 16 goals, 3 assists. Reading could have been just outside the playoffs on goal difference yesterday, but ultimately now just outside it. Maybe not playing too well, but getting results. Liam Richardson style of football. Often not the greatest, but often gets results. Doncaster Rovers 1, Huddersfield 0. Well, Huddersfield were going to win 14 in a row, some of their fans were saying. Hello, Jessup. How are you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Since then, back-to-back losses, and ultimately have lost 10 of their 17 away from home this term. Only Leyton Orient, 11, have lost more games on the road than Huddersfield Town. Since they've been in League One, Huddersfield Town spent big money on big wages, predominantly.
And big transfer fees, by the way.
Big transfer fees. 79 games. They've played 79. They've won 33. They've drawn 14. They've lost 32. 113 points across 79 games of football.
Good table.
Birmingham City, last season, in 46, got 111. And that's the best League One sin. Got more points in 33 less games than this Huddersfield group. I don't know where to begin. Doncaster, good win for them. They needed it, to be fair, because 5 wins now at home. And they've been predominantly good against the bottom half side, but a good win against a top half side. But Huddersfield, well, with the bounce, well, what's followed is 1 draw and 2 defeats.
Can I just say, I thought it was the new manager bounce when Liam Manning went in. I said this on Sunday, and I'm going to say it again because I sound right. And I am right because I'm a very clever young man. I thought, in fairness to Doncaster, I thought Doncaster yesterday were excellent. They got the penalty. It was definitely a penalty, Ben, and we agreed on that. Barley Mumba's got he's basically asking, his teachers asked him a question, and the poor lad's put his hand up right to answer the question. He's just hit him on the hand. Definite handball, definite penalty, no complaints there. Just really poor, sluggish from Huddersfield. Similar to what the exact point you made, Ben, was one I was going to make. In fact, that they've been so lethargic since they've been in League One. They spend all the money and they talk about how good the team are on paper. Does it sound familiar? Bolton Wanderers, and they don't. Again, are Huddersfield Town better than the point in which they came out of League One, come into League One? Probably a little bit. Where they finished last year. They come 10th last year, 9th last year. I think they are a poor side. And Liam Manning, it was clear that there was going to be an instant bounce. Lee Grant was so disliked amongst the playing staff that it was almost anyone was going to come in and they're going to see an uptick in results. And this Huddersfield team, yes, they've got the quality to do it. But the good thing for Huddersfield, Ben, and this is the positive I think they can take out of yesterday. Ryan Hardy came onto the pitch, and if they are going to finish in the playoffs, right, this Huddersfield team who have been so inconsistent, they're going to need Ryan Hardy to be at Ryan Hardy levels that he was a year ago last season for Plymouth Argyle in the Championship, or Ryan Hardy when they got promoted out of League One. He was phenomenal for Plymouth. They're going to need, but they haven't got the time for it because they're in a battle. They're in a battle with teams below them, like Stevenage, who are now trending upwards, having won back-to-back games, which we'll come on to, against a Reading team who, despite maybe not being sparkling, are only 2 points behind them. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago, Ben, where all these teams were talking about how close they were to the playoffs? And I kept saying, Huddersfield are not the barometer of who you should be looking at to who the playoffs are. Huddersfield have just played more games than everyone else. I think similar to Bolton, when you do PPG, these teams, Huddersfield are maybe 8th or 9th in the league for PPG. So, yeah, I don't know with Huddersfield. They're big.
7th.
Do a team deserve to get in the playoffs if they lose nearly as many as they've won? They've won 14. They've lost 12, Ben. The top two, who they're meant to be chasing, have lost less than half. Bolton in third have lost half of those games, right? I don't know. Something stinks at Huddersfield. I don't know what it is, whether it's the expectation of the board.
Peterborough lost 17 in 22-23, getting 77. They won 24.
Peterborough lost 17 now. But yeah, I just don't know Huddersfield. But massive credit to Doncaster, right? Everyone. I mean, I remember you in predictions. I don't know what I think you went for a Huddersfield comfortable 2-0 win from recollection. This is a massive 3 points for Doncaster. It gets that gap to Leyton Orient in the bottom four. I wouldn't have thought that. Parmex, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, it's good for them. They'll feel a little bit of momentum. You know what I mean? Doncaster, they got that win over Burton a couple of weeks ago. They'll be starting to believe in themselves. And Grant McCann is a manager whose teams get better throughout the course of the season. I think we said a couple of weeks ago, if any one team are going to drag themselves out of it, we were most confident in Doncaster. Results like this and performances like yesterday, I think they show exactly why we were right.
Absolutely agree with you there. I think Doncaster have been in lots of games of football this year. Even when they've lost Stockport away, Cardiff away, I thought they're very good.
Lincoln away, they were good.
Yeah. So 100%. Going on to the playoff battle, because a team that 2 weeks ago I dug in at, and probably, if I'm honest with you, dug in a little bit too much. Basically, Ravel's football horrific, and I still don't think it's great, don't get me wrong, but ultimately I basically labelled it as not great, and they play like a relegation-based side. You've got to do what you've got to do for the base of your football club, and if that's the best way of getting results, that's the best way of getting results. Look, what do I know? I've never played the game. I'm not a manager, and ultimately Stevenage are overachieving, and probably overachieved so much when the actually inevitable, what they should be doing, came. I was harsh on them when I probably would have been harsh if they never had the good bit. And that's because I've got high standards for Stevenage now. And maybe because of how good they were in year one, year two, they dipped a little bit, but still had a good, consistent year. You'd say just didn't score a lot of goals. But ultimately, didn't concede a lot of goals either. They do play not to lose. I will still say that. But ultimately, they've won the last 3 home games now. And they've beaten Port Vale, Huddersfield, and Peterborough. 3 sides. One's at the bottom of the league, one's middle of the road in the league, and one's in the playoffs. So you're beating 3 sides there, all by the odd goal, but finding a way to win a game of football. And yesterday they went a goal down, but found a way. And look, the XG didn't matter a lot, but they had a lot of shots yesterday. I thought they played some good stuff. And ultimately, they've given themselves a fighting chance. And they've only lost 9 games. I think they've only lost, 6 of them have been by 1 goal. They've lost the last 3 by, I think, 3-1, 3-1, and 3-0. But ultimately, if they keep in enough football matches, they'll ultimately potentially get in the top 6. And they've been in this situation before. Full credit for the recent resurgence from Alex Ravel. For Port Vale, it's going to be a long 3 months for the minute.
Yeah, if you could refer to them as their proper name, Ben, as so we play Port Vale, I'd much appreciate that going forwards. Stevenage is a weird one, right? I feel like this uptick in form has strangely happened since they signed a good level League One attacking player in Matt Phillips, who helps get the best out of Big Goal Reedy. And Matt Phillips is quality. Like, we see him in the Premier League with Crystal Palace, QPR. He's played for West Brom. He's played for lots of clubs. Blackpool, obviously, one of your favourites. He is a good player, and I did wonder how he ended up at Stevenage. And he just adds something. And do you know what? They've got some good players. Like, individually, you look at it, Stevenage have got some good players for the level, Ben. You can't deny it, even though they are lowly Stevenage. You're talking Dan Phillips. I think he's an absolute... I don't think there's a midfielder in the league like Dan Phillips with his profile. And it was a lovely goal for him yesterday to score. A little bit clunky, but it went over the line, so who particularly cares? Lewis Freestone isn't glamorous. Do you know what I mean? He isn't like... He's not Max Conway. He's not, I don't know, Capaccio. He's not someone like that. But he does the job. He's functional. Charlie Goode the same. Harvey White a little bit more. But these players are all functional. And again, they know the limitations, Stevenage, I think. And they play games and they make games. What am I trying to say?
They make themselves.
They force games to be their way, and I think good teams do that. And I think the Stevenage team are a good side, and they make it a bit like, remember when Anthony Stewart said when he was at Wycombe, "Our house, our rules."
Yeah.
Stevenage are a little bit like that, aren't they? Certainly at home, and it's a big win for them. Back-to-back wins. Farley is absolutely delighted, as you can imagine. I don't know if I was the only one, but I was looking at the scores just to make sure Reading was still winning yesterday, and it went to 2-2 on my sofa score. That Port Vale had a goal disallowed. Sorry, so we played Port Vale had a goal disallowed from Andre Gray, and I was like, hold on a minute, are Stevenage about to bottle it to Port Vale? I was hoping not. But yeah, it's a massive win. And look, the table looks so much brighter now if you're a Stevenage fan. You are 2 games behind Huddersfield, just the 1 point. If they win both their games... By the way, if Stevenage win both of their games in hand on Bolton Wanderers, Stevenage are 3 points behind them. Concern yourselves with Stevenage, Bolton fans. Not Lincoln. Sorry. I know I'm going to get stick for that.
Anymore.
But it was a great win for Stevenage, and they deserved it. And this could be the start of a bit of an uptick in form, and I really hope it is for Matt Farley's sake. So we played Port Vale, Ben. I mean, they've been disastrous all season, haven't they? Really, they are. John Brady. I feel like John Brady's got to look at next season now. I don't think he can look at. I don't think he can salvage this job. He's, what are they? 12 points behind. Yes, they've got 3 games in hand. They've got to play 3 games, probably at least one of them on that pitch that they've got at the minute, which they have to call the games off. Port Vale are in no end of trouble.
They're done. They're dusted. They're past trouble. They're in the jail cell. They're in cuffs, and they're absolutely
on the way to the electric chair, Ben.
Yeah, one thing I'd say about them, they're not allowed near any other patients because they're so dangerous. They could, but almost. They've got a last game of the season where they could just turn into Barcelona and stop things happening.
It'll be done by that. It'll be done, mate. If Bolton keep dropping points the way they are, we'll be done by Easter.
Be done by next week. Leyton Orient 1, Plymouth Argyle 3. Loyal, Hale, Derek, Adams.
I was going to say Bin Pebble.
Well, yeah, Bin Pebble. Absolutely. On match week 15, Jay notoriously said on this channel, I gave his way. Tom cleverly said 15 games. I've not seen it. They were bottom of the league. And he went, I'm taking it. I'm done. I'm not defending him anymore. I've done it. He dusted. Since then, Derek Adams returned to Plymouth Argyle. 17 matches, 9 wins, 3 draws, 5 defeats. Only 4 sides have more points in their time: Bolton, Peterborough, Lincoln, and Cardiff. But only on PPG, Lincoln and Cardiff who've got 40 and 43. Lincoln have a game in hand on Cardiff on that, by the way. Plymouth was 24th in the table before that. What a return. Do you think it's a coincidence that Derek Adams has come back to the football club and things that I just think that Tom Cleverley needed a mentor. He looked done, he looked struggling, big fan base, big pressure over there. And all of a sudden, a voice of calmness, bit of structure, bit of clarity. Oh, good away from home. 25 points, 8 wins. No team in League One have won more away games than Plymouth Argyle. And they have to travel more miles than pretty much everyone else from where they live. And ultimately now, they're 12th in the table. They're 6 off the playoffs with a game in hand.
Huddersfield aren't the barometer. As I keep saying, Huddersfield are not the barometer. But I work with a Plymouth Argyle fan. And I said to him, I just said to him in passing comment after he was leaving the office today. I said, can you do it? And he went, yeah, I think we can. And I said, isn't it a shame you can't play all your games away from home? Because if you did, I'd probably say you'd do it. But I don't know what it is. Plymouth are so weird, right? Whenever I think of Plymouth and Exeter this year, I think you said it in your you've done a YouTube short or a TikTok. You've done so many in the last couple of days, and I've watched all of them. I can't remember which one you did it on, but you spoke about how Plymouth are just so normally reliable, so at home, and now they're just completely unreliable at home park. And all of a sudden now away from home, they're like prime Barcelona.
And that's the way they set up, like Derek Adams style structure.
Yeah, I can see it. And I think you're right. Tom Cleverley.
I like that word.
Those
words. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Cleverley was out of his depth. Tom Cleverley had not got his swimming badges, and he'd gone, do you know what? I'm not doing the shallow end. I'm going to jump in the deep end with my pajamas on, and I'm going to see how I roll. And he struggled, and he did struggle. I think he's open to admit that. Derek Adams is a little bit like not the Lilo. What are they called? The toggle. You know what a toggle is, Ben? If I said a toggle, you know the little. You've been swimming before at a pool, and not like for fun. And there's those
rubber ring.
Not a rubber ring. They're made of like polystyrene, I guess. And they're like little arches that you lean on and you balance yourself on and you swim on. I don't know the technical term. If you'd like to tell me in the comments, please let me do. Derek Adams is his support system. He's helping him. He's just giving him a little bit of guidance. He's in his ear a little bit. And I think that's massively benefited for Tom Cleverley. And yesterday, they were brilliant. Plymouth Argyle were brilliant again away from home. And they were on Saturday away at Blackpool. But yesterday, they kept Don Ballard quiet. But Bim Pebble, generally, Plymouth Argyle fans, if Plymouth Argyle fans, you're probably going to lose Laurent Talai in the summer. Don't worry. You've got Bim Pebble, who I think, I said this to my colleague earlier. I said, if we get promoted, if you're asking me who I'd rather have, Bim Pebble or Laurent Talai, I'm having Bim Pebble all day, every day. He's a handful. He's young.
He's 23 as well.
He's young. He's quick.
On
he's
Christmas
strong.
Day as well.
He can finish. Jesus. Honestly, he's a fantastic footballer. And again, he gets them on the way yesterday. Yes, they had the setback, and maybe the Orient goalkeeper, bless him, did his best to get Plymouth back in front. It was an absolute howler from, bear in mind, I'm just going to get his name up. Oluwemi, from Celtic. I think they're signing from. Ben, I think that name's probably one for you, not me. And then they go and score their third goal, and it was a fantastic away performance. And I think Plymouth Argyle deserve a huge amount of praise. And Alex Mitchell looks a phenomenal player, barring the rascal trim that he's rocking. And I'm very pleased. I think Plymouth Argyle, if they've got, like we said, they've got to be flawless. But in fairness, since we said that, they've been flawless, right? Fair enough. They got Cardiff this weekend at home.
Big game to make a statement. If they win
exactly. If they beat Cardiff, they'll be thinking, hold on a minute, we can have a real go at the top 6. Please beat Cardiff, Plymouth. Leyton Orient, Ben.
I was just going to ask you about this.
What a drop.
I love Richie Wellens. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I just had a text saying that someone bought my Cardiff ticket.
Oh, perfect. So it's not like you to get other people buying your tickets.
Mate, we've sold over 1,000. It only went on sale at 10 o'clock today. Big game.
We will take 10,000, mate. No problem. We just haven't done it yet to prove it. Yeah. Don't come back to me if we eventually get them in the FA Cup or anything.
You take 10.
Yeah, we'd have to get to the third round, like. No, I love Richie Wellens and I love what he's about. But I've always said on this channel, I said it, I think January time last year. Did they play Bolton? I think at home, and I think they lost 2-1. Yeah,
Bolton scored 2 late goals, didn't they?
Was Aaron Morley involved? I think it was when it was the end of the Ian Everett era. So I'm not too sure when it was, but it was similar around then, I'm gonna guess. And he came out with an interview that I didn't like, and I'm like, he's calling out the players, but then he's asking supporters, which he's done this season recently, by the way, not to criticise. Which, fair enough, fans are allowed to criticise as long as it doesn't overstep the line. There's a line. Ultimately, unfortunately, a lot of keyboard warriors and fans think they can overstep because they pay 15 quid for a ticket. But ultimately, they can say what they want. And I didn't like the interview, really. And I can see him being a bit of a pain when things aren't going his way. And when he's had spells in his career at Swindon and Oldham for a bit of time. And ultimately, Leyton over 4 years now, we're saying. He's got promoted, he got to play a final, he's finished mid-table twice in League One, where it's always been high. But there's been lows in that. If you look at it, especially in League One, there's been runs where they look gutless and but then they find a way out of it. And like they are drowning, but ultimately they found a bit of a rubber ring and a gentleman has come and just rescued them underneath them and brought them back to shore, and they've been okay again, and they've grown in confidence from it. But ultimately now I'm starting to see a Richie Wellens that is snapping, he's maybe not the same man as he was 12 months ago. There's a bit of an ego there, and that's maybe not working now. And he seems like that man, if it goes great, it goes great. But if it goes sour, he's a bit of he might lose the patience of the players. I feel he'd snap at the players. And you know what players are like these days. If you said to them, you need to be better, they'd probably burst into tears. Do you know what I mean? That's what you're working with. I think Richie Wellens is that type of manager where he's, do you know what I mean? Where he'll snap at you and he can really criticise players and they'll go in the shell a little bit. And I think you've got to be able to take that. I think it'd be a great pickup, but I tell you what, this Leyton Orient team, I think genuinely, they're weak at the back. They can see goal after goal. They're losing fine margin football matches. They're not even great at home. And I mean, the next couple of games, Northampton away, that's a massive game. Barnsley at home, going to Bradford, Stevenage. I mean, back-to-back away games. And then they've got Wimbledon, they've got Exeter to come at the end of March. Ultimately, Richie Wellens has always been this championship manager. He's going to go at some. Do you think? I think this got to a stage of he believes his own hype.
Ben, have you got your water bottle? Because I think you need to throw it and say your famous line.
Oh, I think they've scored. I said they would.
Another
loss on the road for Wigan.
By the way, guess who scored it?
Joe Taylor.
Joe Taylor. That boy knows where the net is. What a boy. Against Luton as well.
He's third of the season.
Wigan. Third for Wigan. He had a good chance at the Emirates on Saturday, bless him.
Scored 9 now in all comps, something like that.
Oh, mate. And Huddersfield let him go out on loan. A little bit suspicious, I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about Richie Wellens. I really like him. I really like his ideology of football. I'm a massive, massive fan of him. But like Parmex said, he's got them in this mess, and you kind of trust him to get him out. But like as the game weeks tick by and that away form gets worse and worse, and they concede more goals, I think what the difference is, and Parmex, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what it feels like from the outside. Last year, when Leyton only got to the playoffs and overachieved, you could name 9 of their starting 11. You knew Keeley was going to play in goal. You knew Beckles was going to play at the back. You knew Curry was going to be at left back. You knew El Mazzuni was going to be in there. Donnelly. You knew Charlie Kelman.
El Mazzuni just come back this year.
Who?
El Mazzuni. I don't think he played for him last year, did he?
Maybe not. But you knew Ollie O'Neill was going to play one side. You know what I mean? This year, I think, as Leyton Orient fans, I think you'd be massively surprised at the starting 11, no matter what. Like, players can play. I think the only constant in this, the only three constants in this team that I've seen from a Leyton Orient point of view is Don Ballard up front, Sean Clare plays most games, and Ollie O'Neill. Apart from that, it's an absolute lottery who plays for Plymouth Argyle, and it could be one player one week, or it could be one player the other week. Like, and that unity is just, it's not there. And it's so difficult for players to be in 1 week and then out the next week. No wonder they're conceding goals horrifically. Could it be managed a little bit better by Richie Wellens? Probably. But I just feel like he doesn't have he doesn't trust the players enough. And I think ultimately that's been Orient's undoing this year, really. There's just not a lot of trust from the manager. I feel like the summer recruitment was rushed. Obviously, everyone knows about when you lose a playoff final, how difficult it is to recruit the next season afterwards. And you always see a drop-off, don't you? Remember Shrewsbury, when they got to the playoff final, they had a massive drop-off. I remember the year after, I think we came 17th after we got to the playoff final.
Fleetwood finished 4th. Next season, we're like 21st after this stage. It's at Rosler.
Massive hangover.
12 and stayed up under Sheridan.
I think there are some cornerstones for next year that they can build on, that players that are going to be there next year. So I think Forrester is a big part of that. Obviously, he's been made captain. If they can keep, obviously they've signed Levitt. I think he's going to play a lot of games between now and the end of the season. Theo Archibald, I think with his injury risk, I don't think many clubs are going to come calling for him, no matter how well he plays. I think maybe they'll lose O'Neill and Ballard. But they've got, this summer, if they stay up, is all about getting reliable players who the manager can trust. And I think next year we'll see Leyton Orient get back to overachieving. But they've just got to battle through. They've got to put a brave face on and battle through it, I think, then. Yeah,
absolutely. Leyton Orient fans, Parmex, let us know what you think. And let's wrap through these games, because I think we've still got 4 to go. Barnsley 2, Peterborough 1. Peterborough remain the only team in Scarlet League 1 yet to draw away from home. They've won 7, they've lost 10. Yet have the 5th most points on the road, and they've lost 10 games away from home. Bizarre, isn't it? And Barnsley, Barnsley are only the top 2 have scored more goals at home than Barnsley this year. Cardiff and Lincoln, but only Plymouth, Argyle, and Blackpool. Plymouth has many, Blackpool 1 more, have conceded more. Barnsley only 2 clean sheets this year. Peterborough was one of them. That's been their issue, not goal scoring chances. But yesterday, big win, and ultimately they're still with a small chance of the playoffs. 8 points outside it. We're talking about Plymouth. Barnsley have got a small chance as well. They can score goals, although DKD left. McGoldrick obviously played another game yesterday. It's after that where I worry for them. But ultimately, Cleary can keep fit. If the players can keep fit, they've got a good chance. For Peterborough, another loss, which is obviously disappointing, but played well yesterday. They created a lot of chances, created more chances than the hosts. I just think they're starting to get to that stage now of 5 points still outside, but they need to make a move sooner rather than later.
Yeah, they do. And they're just so inconsistent, Posh. Like you say, you feel like their ceiling, Ben, is top 6, League 1. But again, their trough is bottom 4. And Peterborough are just so in between those two. And sometimes they can be the same in the same 90 minutes. They can be scintillating, but then they can also be extremely average and really poor. So, I think Peterborough and I spoke to Ash, good friend of me and probably of you as well. Do you know Ash from the podcast? Big old Ash.
I know him.
The guy who called me Henry VIII last week, a couple of weeks ago.
He's met man.
Yeah, he's a mate. Yeah, I thought he might be. He said that Posh gave up their chances of the playoffs in January when they didn't sign anyone. And I can understand to an extent why Darrow didn't do it, because I think you want to try and acclimatise this group into League One players like Lisby. They've got some young players coming through now in Pemi and Mendonca. So, but last night I thought it was a little bit like a basketball game, and I thought in terms of individual quality on the pitch, Barnes has just had the best player on the pitch in Reyes Cleary, and he's the one that wins in the game. I think Lisby went off. I think there was a bit of a tiff with Lisby and the manager. Be interested to see what happens from the weekend from that. But Yeah, I mean, I saw a tweet earlier. How bad is this league if Barnsley are only 8 points off the playoffs with 4 games in hand?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think the league's bad. I don't think the league's bad. But because Barnsley aren't going to make up the 8 points in those 4
There's
games.
just 5 good teams in Huddersfield in the playoffs.
Correct.
Genuinely. Moving on, Exeter 1, Wycombe 1. That was a late goal for Jaden Wareham in Exeter City, but it takes him to 40 points. We'll get on to Gary Cole in a minute. But that was a big point because you felt like you didn't want to go on a bad run. Your manager's lose your first game. Pressure's on then, isn't it? But you get a point. You snatch something from somewhere. Wycombe, 2 tough away games this week. Away at Reading and away at Exeter. Created loads of chances Saturday, didn't get anything. Didn't create much yesterday. Got a point. Football for you. Exeter 20 shots. They played really well. Had a lot of possession. Jaden Wareham has actually, he's got 11 goals now this year. It's the 3rd most in a single season from a single player. Giovanni Brown on 12 and Sam Nombe on 15 in 22-23. He's been massive for Exeter this year and another point closer to safety. And they've been good at home this over the years in League One. 35 in the first year, 30, 29. They gradually got worse, but ultimately they're at 25 now, so they're on course for the best season tally with, I think, 8 games to go.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Exeter this year. Obviously, you like to mention that they beat us every week, and you've made sure you knocked that one in earlier in the pod. I think Exeter at SJP are a ridiculously difficult team to beat. I think, 2 defeats since the middle of September shows you pretty much exactly why. And yesterday, we've said it, Ben, all season. We say it about teams down the bottom. We said it about Plymouth. We say it about Burton. We say it about a lot of teams down the bottom. Leyton, Orient, always got a chance with a goal scorer in your team, always. And Jaden Wareham, to his massive credit, I love the way he just swaggers around the pitch with his shirt tucked in. I think he's great. I also don't think he'll be at Exeter next season, given his goal return, admittedly, because I think somebody at the top end of League One will spend a silly amount of money on Jaden Wareham in the summer. But they've got a chance, and it was half a chance when it the goal, and that's all it took, and they got an equaliser. I don't know if you watched the post match. Michael Duff was absolutely raging. He was red in the face over his team's second half performance, and the fact that they just got deeper and deeper, and they allowed Exeter, who he said weren't massively great, but we just sucked so far deep. They got an opportunity because we just left so much space for them, and that's how the goal came out. So, yeah, it's a bump in the road for Wycombe. Exeter, great point. For Wycombe, it really does feel like, what are they on, 39 points, Wycombe? I think. I don't know, actually. How many points have Wycombe on? How many points have Wycombe on, Ben? You tell me.
They're Wycombe, 44.
44 points. Feels like they're going to need 30 points from their 14 games, and that just feels a little bit of a stretch. Certainly with their away form as well. But I think Michael Duff will make them much more competitive next year.
100%. Bump in the road. Just footy. Just football. Just footy.
Just a game, lads, in the El Clasico. It's just a game. Calm down. Calm down.
Just footy. Just footy. Just a bump in the road. Just footy.
Just footy.
If you know, you know. Burton 1, Rotherham 0.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about this one, Ben, do we really? It was 1-0. It was a horrific game of football. Burton won it. Well done. Move on.
Yeah, 2 wins in 15 for Rotherham United. They've lost 9 of them. Matt Amshaw keeps getting away with it. He won back-to-back games, didn't he? He got the point with Wimbledon as well in there. But ultimately, they're not good enough. They put 4-0 Exeter, fleet result. And then this, 7 points in 15, the least in the league in that time. I'm worried for them. Burton have just... I'm not really surprised anymore because they are what they are. I love Gary Bowyer. I think he's basic, but ultimately he's the best manager they've had since Cloughie. And by basic, I mean, you'll never get high, you'll never get low. They could win the FA Cup and he'll go, well, that's great, but we've still got the Community Shield to play for.
Yeah, well...
And that's what he'll do because, honestly, right, and then once you've achieved something, he will let out his emotion. And you throw that fist bump, that was... He needed that. I think Gary is on the inside and away from the cameras. I reckon Gary Bowyer will be an emotional figure and will feel everything.
Oh, he loves them.
But in front of the camera and in front of the supporters and these players, he's a great act and he knows how to manage it. And there's no better man, in my opinion, for Burton Albion right now. And they'll just dig out wins. And when you think they're plateauing, they'll dig out something. First win in 6. Look, they've only won 4 in 16, but they've all come at home. So you think 8 games at home, 8 games away, something like that. You know, they're winning games of football at home, which they weren't doing. I think they won 6 at home now this season. They've won 3 away. I just think they need to be fair, they're not ranked bad for away form, but they just need to keep ticking along nicely away from home and get a win somewhere away from home. The next 5 are Luton, Wycombe, Exeter, Northampton, Blackpool. I think Luton will be tough. Wycombe, if they can nick a point there. Exeter, you feel it. They can try and target for 3 points. Northampton target for 3 points. And Blackpool up until Mansfield yesterday, I think that anyone that was driving past Bloomfield Road was getting 3 points on the licence from how bad they've been at home this year. So
yeah, I can tell that upsets you.
Yeah, it does. It does. Big win for Burton Albion. Against a typical game that Burton would normally lose, but they've lost those games. Doncaster, for example. So horrific game of football. I don't think Burton Albion will care. 3 points close towards safety for another year. And Davies Angina, it might just be ticking along a little bit nicer now.
Yeah, I don't have a huge amount to say that you haven't already covered. Not a great game of football, not one for the spectacle. They got the nose in front. Tyrese Shade, 100 grand down the drain. Tyrese Shade scores again. It was a good finish, to be fair to him. I love how he went across the goalkeeper right in the bottom corner. Fantastic. Yeah, I think this is a good reaction from Saturday's disappointing FA Cup defeat against West Ham, where they felt they were maybe better than just getting them to extra time. Maybe wanted to take them to penalties. This is a much better performance. Like you said, they weren't sparkling, but they didn't need to be against a Rotherham team that are so tepid at the minute. And I think without Joe Powell as well, which is a massive loss for them, given how well he'd been in recent weeks. But again, Ben, I look at Rotherham. I just think it looks like a team that are geared up for League Two. I genuinely do, and it's not to take any discredit away from Burton. It's a massive win for them. And hopefully they're now on the way to safety, and they can start maybe planning to be safe a couple more weeks earlier than what they were last year. But yeah, Rotherham really poor. No idea what the identity is. They play 3-5-2, but I watched them on at times last night. They didn't look like they were in a 3-5-2. They looked in a 4-back. They were shifting. I think you can tell a manager has no idea what he's doing because the players on the pitch look like they have no idea. And that has been Rotherham all season. No plan, no identity, tosh. Burton,
the opposite.
Burton have got an identity. And they go long into Beasley and they have Shade run off him, whatever.
No.
But it works.
They don't. They go long into Beasley. Get it right.
Sorry. I should know, shouldn't I? And it works, and they found a formula as Burton Albion, and it works. Fair play to them, and it's a really key point. Me and David earlier today on Twitter went through their remaining fixtures. We think they're going to get 16 points. We both thought they were going to get 16 points. 51 points. Now he said, David, and I'm as much as I love you, he said, yeah, I think that will see us safe. And I went, oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. So we'll see.
That's a drama.
If they get 51 points, I think it'll be a last day of the season job. I don't know where Burton are last day. Orient, aren't they? Orient Burton could be a shootout to stay up. I mean,
they've gone from a playoff shootout to a.
You'd be able to console him, wouldn't you? Because I believe you've been relegated at Leyton, Orient, haven't you?
Blackpool won Mansfield.
Oh, what a shock! He wants to talk about Blackpool. Go on, Nappers.
That was the worst.
This is the last game, by the way. I've forgotten.
Honestly, I didn't go on Twitter. I didn't do any. I posted my vlog and shut down my phone, and I cried that day. Devastated.
This is the last one. Come on.
Blackpool's second win of 2026, both at home and both come at Bloomfield Road against Northampton and Mansfield. Now, Lenny scores on his first start since the 27th of September, where he played against Bradford and came off. Big win for the Seasiders. Wasn't pretty, wasn't vintage. All that mattered was 3 precious points to get them away from the drop. They would have been in the bottom 4 after tonight's result. With tonight's result, without that win. So it just shows you how important it was. Blackpool's home form would be pivotal for them. The Mansfield, after winning 4 in a row, they then drew 4 in a row, and now they've lost the last 2 with a bit of.
Hopefully that means they're about to lose 4 in a row, Ben.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then we're beating Burnley in between in the Emirates FA Cup.
Yeah, been there, done that. It's not that impressive. We did it as a non-league team.
How long ago?
9 years ago today, Ben.
I didn't mean
9 years ago today, I fractured my leg, celebrated a goal. Love you, Sean.
I didn't mean no, pal. Big win for the Seasiders. The back.
You wish they were back, Ben. Yeah, it was a good win. I don't think they were fantastic. But I don't think. I think they were helped out that Mansfield were absolutely atrocious last night. They couldn't string 5 passes together. So, yeah, a massive win for Blackpool, like you say, in big circumstances. That Bloomfield Road form is going to be massive for them. And hopefully they stay up. We like Bradford. We like Bradford. I love Bradford, but we like Blackpool. We like having Blackpool in League One, don't we? Don't we, Ben? We wouldn't want them in League. We can't have 2 far coast clubs in League 2. It'd be unfair, wouldn't it? Anyway, should we do some predictions, Ben? Because we've gone on for an hour and 37, and we've gone 11.
If you've enjoyed the show, please do us a massive favour. Hit like. It's free to do so, and hit subscribe. Appreciate you. And also, big thank you for 18,500 subscribers.
Oh, fantastic. Well done, Nappers.
As we go to 19,000. So thank you very much for everyone that subscribed. We've hit 18,500 subscribers. Thank you very much.
Right, Ben. Full slate of fixtures on the weekend. Are you excited? You're knackered? Don't be knackered, mate, because we've got to talk through this. Ben, big game. Plymouth Argyle against Cardiff City as an early kickoff. We've got 3 early kickoffs this week.
Plymouth 1, Cardiff 0. I fancy it.
Oh, don't get me excited. We're in a title race. Oh my God. Could you imagine if we go to Cardiff, top of the league? Oh my God. Stop it.
And you wake up from your dream. What do Lincoln fans do after winning League 1? Turn off their Xbox.
When was the last time you got close to winning League One?
Next game.
Plymouth. No, I haven't done mine, and I'm not selling myself short again like I did last time. Plymouth Argyle 1, Cardiff City 2, I think. Rotherham United against Doncaster. This is massive down the bottom. This is big. I'm gonna go Rotherham United 0, Doncaster Rovers 1. Big win.
Rotherham 2, Doncaster 1.
Oh, you've gone the other way. Fair play. Ben, Wycombe against Stevenage, the boys.
Wycombe 2, Stevenage 1.
I have that. That's a scribble for me. I'm going to go Wycombe Wanderers 2, Stevenage 0. Wimbledon against Bradford. AFC Wimbledon 2, Bradford City 1.
Wimbledon 1, Bradford 1.
Ben, Bolton against Blackpool. Is he and Everett going to go back to the tough sheet and ruin his former employer's season?
I was just going to say 2-0 out there, pitching if anything to Blackpool, but I don't think it will be. I just see it. Bolton 2, Blackpool 1.
Yeah, I had that. Bolton 2. No, Bolton 3, Blackpool 1. Huddersfield against Barnsley. I'm going to go Terriers 1, Barnsley 0.
Huddersfield 2, Barnsley 0.
Ben, Luton against Burton Albion.
Luton 2, Burton 0.
Luton Luton 2, Burton 1. Luton do concede the odd goal at home. Ben, big one. Stags versus Imps in a local affair. I'm going to go. Do you know what's been working really well recently? Me predicting us to draw away from home, and we've won every game. Stags 1, Imps 2. I think we win.
Mansfield 0, Lincoln. No, because every time I predict you to lose, you win. No, Mansfield 0, Lincoln 2.
Yeah, we won 3-0 there last year.
Which again, yeah.
Cobblers against Orient. Ben, for you.
0-0.
I know what I'm going for.
0-0.
Cobblers 2, Orient 1. Have it, Parmex. You'll be in the bottom 4 proper then. Peterborough against Exeter. I'm going Posh 2, Exeter 1.
Posh 0, Exeter 1.
Don't mind it. So we play Port Vale, Ben, against Reading.
3-0 Reading.
I'm going to go 2-0 Reading. If that game's on, that looks like it could be postponed given the pitch problems at Port Vale.
Are they doing anything about it?
Eh?
They're doing anything out about it?
Well, I imagine they've probably got covers on it, but I don't think it'll
No, I don't mean covers. I mean getting some sorts
of help. Finally, Stockport against Wigan. I'm going to go Stockport County 2, Wigan Athletic 0.
Stockport 1, Wigan 1.
Give me that. Anyway, there's your show, ladies and gents. 1 hour and 42 minutes.
Great show, wasn't it?
It certainly was a long one tonight, but it was good fun. I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed the interaction with the Bolton fans, who ironically are all cleared off because they realise that they're not getting automatically promoted now, haven't they? Bless them.
Well, a big thank you for everyone that's watched, that's liked, that's commented, that's not watched, not commented, but just been in the chat. If you could like, that'd be appreciated. If you could subscribe, that'd be great. Go over to Jake's handles. Jake, take it away.
Yeah, my Twitter's down here. Give us a follow. I tweet a lot about the EFL. Also, here for the Lincoln podcast. There'll be an episode out on Friday for our preview against Mansfield, and we will. I know there's a lot of Lincoln fans in here, so we will relive last night's wonderful performance against Northampton Town as well. So please do come and give us a listen.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back here Sunday, the 22nd of February. If you haven't already, that'd be appreciated.
4 days away.
Subscribing. 4 days, we'll have another dose of League One pie all ready to serve you with some nice custard or ice cream here on Cod's Vlogs. See you Sunday.
Can tell you're a waiter.
Bartender, but yeah, pal. Can tell you're a banker as well.
You're somebody that rhymes with banker.
Yeah. Freddie Draper.